person that needs to be thanked the most, probably with a standing ovation, because you have no idea what she went through for the last 4 months. But I'd like to thank Cheryl Mitchell. Chosen out of a hat of the senior moms to do everything, and I know the other senior moms help, but with a son that's a third-year starter for us, she got that fortunate job of being the snack bar lady and all this stuff in this banquet. And this stuff doesn't happen if I'm in charge, I guarantee you. So Cheryl, thank you very much. As we try to develop young players into varsity players, we like to develop young moms into varsity moms. So we'd like to thank our JV team mom, Mrs. Guerrero. It's all a very sneaky ploy that I do every year. Next year, you got this guy. Okay, two other gentlemen I'd like to thank. One I'd like to thank this young man who did graduate from the greatest university ever, our announcer, Dave Halverson. The other one I'd like to thank is Val Brocado for doing our scoreboard and stats all year. I had the boys sign, I wrote on their 2011 Rio Honda League champs, and those two gentlemen, they showed up every day. They did the announcing, they did the scoreboard, and it's something, you know, I didn't know they were going to do it, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'd like to get to our individual awards. You know, it's a true story. Those trophies are getting etched. The plaques are getting etched. But I think these little trophies that cost me $5.99 for a dozen of them just kind of represent it. If you win a league championship, you should get this quality of trophy. You know, and they're pure gold. No line, they're pure gold. But it's, you know, you want to pour champagne in them and stuff like that. You know, it's one of those things I was driving home Friday night going, you know what, school's closed and I don't have that stuff with me. So I went to Party City, and this is the best they got, and I think the kids will love them forever. I think they'll love them forever. So if you don't want me to order the plaques, I won't. You know, I can stop the order. You know. All right, each year we like to give out individual awards. The first people I'd like to talk about is those gentlemen that were voted for all Rio Honda League. And pretty good year for the Rams, I'll just say. Pretty good year for the Rams. But I do have to say that we deserve it, bottom line. Our players were the best players. I mean, I looked at the list of players that other coaches put up, and I'm like, you know what, I probably got 8, 9, 10 better guys than you got, and that's why we're 10-2. But the coaches are really good about the voting. You put your players out there, you put their stats out there, and the coaches vote on it. And the kids that get the most votes are the first team. Kids that get the second most votes are the second team. And it's not always the kid with the best average that goes on the first team, because the Rio Honda League, in all its greatness that we have, you know, we don't get much respect outside, but the coaches do get along really well, and they're very fair. So this year I thought they did a good job voting. So just so they can stand up, we have two gentlemen that made second team. Kyle Starling is the second team infielder, and Alec Vigil is the second team outfielder. Deservedly so, we have two first team outfielders, Kayla Halverson, and Benji Sanderson. We have a first-team infielder, Julian Gerard. We have a first-team pitcher in Calvin Copping. We have a first-team catcher, Jonah Gerard. And by vote, the best player in the league, Corey Copping. So they'll be getting a certificate for that, and I think 2 or 3, 4 of these kids are really deserving of an All-Valley vote. So when the Star News calls us and starts talking about that, I think we have 3 or 4 first-team All-Valley players too. So I think they should be deserving of that. Now, some of the coaches' awards and individual awards that we gave. Let's just start. Okay, I'll start with Mr. Gonzalez because he's nervous about his award. So he's going to give away the Pitcher of the Year award.
We all came together and decided who the Pitcher of the Year award is going to go to. It goes to Calvin Copping. Pitch some good games for us, and look forward to next year.
Yeah, Calvin was absolutely outstanding on an absolutely outstanding pitching staff, and you did a great job, Calvin, and you did a great job swinging the bat and playing right field for us too. So he's really turned into an all-around player. This year, the most improved player, the coaches and I talked about it. We had several candidates, but learning the position and being a leadoff hitter all year for us and hitting over 300, our most improved is Kyle Starr.
Okay, I get the honor of doing the Best Defensive Player of the Year. This young man, he came with us as a junior, sophomore actually, worked his way, keep improving each time, showed it in the summer, in the off season. Like Coach Bacon said, I had the great privilege of taking the 7th period class, and we just worked all the time, and this young man just constantly worked. Every time I said, hey, we're going to do infield drills, this guy was first one ready to do it, and he did it all the time. He did it on the field. Sometimes if he had a bad game up at bat, he didn't show it in the infield. He's diving, turning double plays, whatever it took to get the job done. And that's Julian Gerard.
He didn't talk. Okay, we decided to give away 2 coaches award, and I think Dustin said it so well, what a coach's award is. And it's not always the stats, but it's kids that kind of put it out on the field, okay? And kids that are appreciative for playing, kids that play hard all the time, but kids that we can trust, and kids that do things for the team that help us win, even though they may not be statistically. But the first one did it statistically and defensively, and it did everything that we did ask of him, and our first coach's award goes to Troy Bocado. The second one, I call him a future coach. That's all I got to say, Jake Halverson. This is a part of the evening I've been looking forward to the most. Each year we give out Offensive Player of the Year, we give out an MVP, and this is a special year for us because we get a chance to do something new for the first time we haven't done. We are going to name an award after a young man named Dal Jones who passed away here recently. and it will be the Dow Jones Most Valuable Player of the Year. We were thinking Offensive Player of the Year, but the young men that are going to get this did everything we could want. So it's a special privilege for me to introduce his father, and I need you to hear what he's got to say, because this is kind of what Temple City baseball is all about. A young man that grew up in the community, a young man that wore his jersey with pride, and I introduce you to Dow Jones Sr.
Well, first of all, I do want to say something. 22 years ago, I was here for my son's band. And this is incredible. 22 years later, I think every one of you players has got to thank everybody in here that did this for you, because this is unreal. This is beautiful. Okay, you got to pardon my shaking here. I'm a little nervous only because we're talking about a guy that just died recently and was my best friend in the whole world. But I'd like to talk to you a little bit about him, about the player he was. And I mean this for all the players here. He played in 1989. He actually played 86, 87, 88, 89. Went out for the freshman team. Got him shaking like Lee. Went out for the freshman team and was called up to JVs that year because they had a player get hurt up there. So everybody's just attrition, and they all just went up to the top. He went to the JV, etc. So he played 2 years of JV, 2 years of varsity. 1988, he got Hodgkin's disease. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a cancer of the lymph glands. And this is what I want you to hear, because this is special. It happened in October, so he had like 4 months. He had major surgery, was laid up for a while, had to have a tutor for the first semester of his junior year. And he was going to go out for the varsity that year. Excuse me. And on his bed at the hospital, Coach Vors, who's the JV coach, and Coach Denny Marquardt, who was the varsity coach, came in. And his mother, in fact, let me introduce some people to you right now, because I'm going to forget to do this. His mom, Eleanor, his wife, Sally, and my wife, Andrea, are here. And he was very special to us. Anyway, his mom and I were in his room, and these two coaches come walking in, and they come over and they're talking to him. And Coach Marquardt bends down, and he says, "Hey, buddy," he says, "I don't even want you thinking about baseball. I just want you to think about getting better." And Dal pulled him down to him, I swear. He pulled him down, and he goes, "I'm going to be your starting shortstop this year. I'm going to do it, Coach." Of course, I lose it. I walk out in the hallway. The two coaches walk out. We're all hugging each other, crying in the hallway. And he did. He made the starting shortstop that year. But it was because of a lot of hard work, and that's why I want to tell his story. When he finally was able to get out of that bed, he had to go do radiation treatments at Methodist every day. And when he'd get done with those, he'd come over to the high school and he'd run up and down the bleachers. And all he could talk about was Ram pride. And he goes, "I got that Ram pride." And he goes, "I know like these guys are counting on me, and we got to win the championship this year." He goes, "We won it 2 years in a row as JVs." He said, "We got to keep this thing going." He was weak. He couldn't really pitch that year. He was a pitcher and a shortstop. He couldn't really pitch that year, but he played shortstop, batted about maybe 320, something like that, which was a good year, but he knew he was better than that. Came back in his senior year, and he did it all. He batted like 440. He still got his name up on the wall. There's some at the school. I guess he got 4 or 5 records. He wound up being the team MVP. He was the first team All-League, first team All-CIF Southern Section, San Gabriel Valley Player of the Year, first team All-Valley, all that good stuff. I mean, he did it all. But the thing that was more special than that, if he was standing here right now, he'd be going, "Come on, Dad, come on, Dad, come on, Dad," because he was really not that kind of a guy. He was such a special player, and Coach Wooler, he can tell you, because he grew up with him, he played ball with him. And he was a very special player and a good teammate. I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to let you guys go. The other thing that I wanted to say was that when they won the league, I think they went like 13-2 or something like that in '89. They were 2 outs away from going to Dodger Stadium for the CIF Southern Section Championship. I mean, that's how far this team went. And it was a team that reminded me a lot of you guys here, because it was real cohesive. It was real chemistry. I'm listening to your coach talk, and I'm man, these guys are all really together. And you guys should be proud that you got to play on a team like that. And you got coaches like these who really care about you, because that was the type of team that the '89 team was. It got to the playoffs, and when they got to the playoffs, my son was a pretty good golfer too, and so they were at the same time, as you know. So when they got to the playoffs, the varsity golf coach came to Coach Marquardt and said, "Man, we're playing in a really tough CIF playoff match. Could Dal play with us?" Which I was thought that was strange. I thought he had to play golf the whole year, but he could have done it if he wanted to. So Marquardt went to him and said, "Dal, you know, we don't have a game until Friday." It was like on a Tuesday, and he said, "If you would like to play in the tournament, you know, the team could really use you." He looked at Marquardt and he goes, "I'll do anything you want me to do, Coach." But he goes, "I'm a co-captain on this team. And the way I look at it, we're on the verge of doing something really special in the playoffs. If I leave to go have an afternoon of golf, what kind of a message is that going to send to the rest of my team?" He said, "I would rather just go to practice." And that was the kind of candidate he was. So, congratulations on a great season. I have to say, on behalf of my family, on behalf of him, we are beyond blown away and honored that you're naming this award after him. Thank you very much.
So each year, we'll have the Dale Jones Memorial Offensive MVP of the team. And obviously this year, two young men that epitomize probably what Dal meant about playing the game and loving their teammates. Our co-MVPs are Jonah Gerard and Corey Coffey. Just to stay here, guys. To really show just our appreciation. I mean, I've heard of Dal for years, and I can't say anything. I only met the man once. But Coach Worley holds him dear to his heart. And he went out and got a special gift for Sally here, Sally Jones. We got his jersey. Coach Gonzalez had it in his locker. And we had it framed, and we got a thing for you. So that's for you to hang up in your house.
I wasn't planning to say anything, but I did not have the privilege of growing up in Temple City or coming to these amazing schools that are in Temple City. However, Dal and I are blessed with two amazing children, and we have a daughter, Avery, who just turned 3, and our little boy, little Dal, he's the 5th, is turning 5, and he'll be starting hopefully at Longden, and he already plays here with Coach Dustin on Little League, and because of Coach Woolery, he already wears Temple City green. He knows this is where Daddy plays baseball, and we are just all about gold and green already, so I am a proud Temple City mom, baseball mom for the future, so I'm really proud of you guys, and just thank you so much for having us tonight.
Not to take anything away from Corey and Jonah, much deserving of the award, but that's probably all I can say about that. The last thing, I have 2 baseballs here. That one is for you, Dal Sr., signed by the team, and one is for your son to put in your little trophy area that you have for Dal. So, Mike.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So that's what I have, and it's been that special of a year, and I couldn't ask for anything more. For the parents and for the players, thank you. For a senior class that's going on to do great things, and for a freshman class that's coming in to build us from the bottom up, our program's in a good spot. But it is, like Sally said, it's about wearing the green and gold, and it's about taking pride in your community. And from what Coach Duhamel does, from the little guy, T-ball guys, all the way up through the high school, I just don't want us to forget that. Because when I played here in the 80s, it was that way. When Woolery and Dow played here in the late 80s, and it needs to be that way. And like that article we had the other day, these are homegrown kids, coached by you dads, doing the best job that you can do. And they come to the high school, and we try to do our best job. But it's special. It's a small town flavor, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. So for all the players, the coaches, thank you very much. I super appreciate